In recent years, the interest in the design approaches and tools have gained momentum in governments and in the public sector. Design researchers and practitioners are experimenting with theoretical assumptions in practical experiments. We will see how the relationship that links design and policymaking is multifaceted and involves various degrees of intervention. We will begin with defining the area of intervention and its features. Then, we will explore examples of policy labs and good practices of policy implementation around the world. The use of design for and in policymaking is a recent phenomenon and has its roots in the service design area, being firstly and primarily related to social issues. More recently, several governments have adopted design approaches in the development of public policies and services, recognizing the added value that designers can offer to overcome the problems arising in conventional policymaking. There is a stronger focus on collaborative and experimental approaches deriving from participatory design, co-design, and service design. These experiments are taking place across multiple diverse sectors, such as health, social services, migration, and transportation. Why service design? Because service design is an approach used to develop and improve services holistically, considering both the back-end and front-end processes, together with all the physical and digital interactions. The value of a service is created through the interactions between the user and the service provider. Therefore, the service design approach always recognizes and considers the user's perspective as an essential element in the design journey, including them in a collaborative process. Service design as a process includes an exploration phase linked to the research and exploration of the context, a generative phase that includes ideation, prototyping, and testing, and finally, a delivery phase concerning the service simulation and its final implementation. Why service design in policymaking? As mentioned before, the interest for using design in the public sector is gaining momentum, especially in relation to policy implementation. The policymaking process is divided into different stages, described in the so-called policy cycle. In the initial phases, problems are identified and policy scenarios are defined, followed by phases in which policies are formulated and negotiated among different stakeholders. The final step is dedicated to the implementation and evaluation of those policies. When designers enter policymaking processes, they can play different roles, using different tools and sometimes making changes to the process itself. In this framework, service design is a way to stimulate innovation and cultural change in the public sector, contributing to building policies. In doing so, it plays an important role in shifting the focus from processes to outcomes. Service designers started collaborating with policymakers and civil servants to envision new policies, new strategies, and new ways of implementing public services, being involved from the very beginning and throughout the entire development process. Although service design has been often restricted to the implementation phase of policymaking, Christian Bason, who you can see in these MOOCs first week lessons, envisions design playing a role across all the phases of the policy cycle, fostering cross-fertilization between designers, managers, civil servants, and policymakers. The adoption of service design policymaking can be traced back to the early 2000s in UK. During the public service reform, British design agencies were stimulated to collaborate and support public administrations. In the same period, in Denmark, MindLab was launched, becoming the first example of a public lab in which designers, sociologists, and researchers worked together to promote a citizen-driven approach to policymaking. Building on these experiences, similar policy labs have been created with various aims and focusing on different policy areas in a number of countries. In general, policy labs are structures that support policymaking by adopting participative, multi-stakeholder and design-driven approaches actively involving citizens, organizations and companies working within the public sector. Policy labs also support the adoption of design methods and tools in the policy cycle, such as scenarios, foresights, co-design workshops, and prototypes. Interesting examples of how service design is adopted in policymaking are spreading around the world. One of them is the Service Design Studio launched in 2017 by New York City Opportunity, aiming to adopt service design in the field of social services. For example, it has helped promote an initiative to support migrants to apply for citizenship and address barriers to promote participation in a free financial counseling services. In 2015, Demos Helsinki, together with Aalto University, led a strategic research and design project for the Prime Minister's office to run a basic universal income experiment. As a result, it involved a group of about 2,000 unemployed citizens who received a monthly basic income of €560 with the goal of reducing poverty and social exclusion while increasing the employment rate and supporting bureaucratic processes. Outcomes were recently published and they state that results of Finland's basic income experiment are different. While it's true that there are small employment effects, the basic income recipients were more satisfied with their lives and experienced less mental strain than the control group. They also had more positive perception of their economic welfare. All these examples show ways to combine thinking and doing to bridge the gap between theory and practice. This acknowledges that theory is reinforced through real-life experiments, while prototypes inform and create new ways of policymaking. In the light of this reasoning, it's evident why policymaking can and should be considered a design activity. And even though design is not often explicitly included in the policy area, we can indeed say that policies are more and more becoming an object of design, as we increasingly approach policymaking in a more holistic and citizen-centric manner.